Aquarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising. You time your life on Saturn, and Saturn is your Time Lord. You're looking at the world through the lens of should I stay or should I go? Trying to figure out who, with whom, and when, and how, and why you want to be in a committed story. If you don't find a sacred calling vibe to what you're doing, you're going to quit. Your willpower is unstoppable at this time. You can channel angels. You can communicate with the dead. You can transfer your consciousness to other dimensions and realms. You could be burning out, but you could be taking it slower and realizing you need to restructure something that you've been passionately working on. A lot going on in your private life that's surprising, unexpected. A big light is shining down there. You need to pay attention to it, or a family trauma that needs to be revealed and healed. Let's face it, you guys, you are the new guard for humanity. As you let transpersonal power and willpower move through your identity, you are the lead goose for humanity.
Lunatic Astrology.
Hello, Aquarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising. I'm one of you, and we're excited because we're going to have a huge amount of activity in the third house of our chart, which can be extremely positive for communicating, writing, traveling, teaching, and learning, but also the online world if you inhabit that, and a lot of action. I love the second half of the month for surprises in love and romance, especially if you are a single person. And the good news is you have this huge new energy field that's playing out through the month when it comes to your money, where you're going to notice that you have such direct clarity about what it is you need and want and where you need to go financially. You're free from an invisible Mars in your money house. At last, he's visible again and getting huge momentum. And you also have Mercury now finally direct. All the wiffle waffle about my money, my finances, my work, all of that is about to go into a feeling in April that you know the lay of the land, that the roadmap financially ahead is clear, and you're going to go ahead and execute a plan or an action plan with huge confidence, clarity, and bold daring. Let's bring this into the story. Let's talk about your sign and go through it week by week. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Lori Lothy, and this is the Western Tropical Zodiac Astrology, not sidereal. And today I encourage you to cast your chart in whole sign houses. Free tutorial is in the description box so that you can understand how to see the sky from the view of the ancients and also be able to time your best life. You do know that Aquarius, you are ruled by Saturn, not by Uranus, because you don't live 84 years. Like every 84 years, Uranus gets back into the same place in the sky. Let's face it, that's a terrible time lord, whereas Saturn at least is 29 and a half years. So you time your life on Saturn, and Saturn is your Time Lord. And we'll talk a lot about what Saturn's doing this month ahead as well in Aries. A lot of stuff about today's reading is going to be about using astrology as a map of time so that you can actually make decisions and take actions and flow with what's happening. Just in case you want to see my 2026 2.5 hour video for your sign or buy the bundle. I put those together in the fall as a fundraiser. They're still for sale, and you've got a lot of the year left, and I cover everything of importance in the year ahead, 2026. You can still grab them down below. Another exciting thing that I'm doing is teaching my divine timing masterclass in May. If you go into the description box below, I probably might have the enrollment card open by the time you see this video. But if I don't, then what you'll see instead is the wait list to get in. And that's for intermediate astrologers. And that's using extremely cool, rare, and unknown timing tools, as well as some more complex ones for you to time your best life. So come join me in class. We'll be learning in the month of May. All right. So how do you listen today? Sun, Moon, and Rising. Sun is your essence of who you are, your essential nature. You can call it your spirit. And your spirit's playing in matter, and it has to characterize itself to look a certain way and play a role, like in a game player simulation archetype. The game player is the sun, and the role you play, the avatar in the simulation, is your rising sign. Your sun and rising sign are very accurate for predicting timeline stories, so listen for both. Sun can also lean you into career a bit more and purpose. The moon is how you feel and think about life, but the moon can represent domicile, nest as well, and home. And so we can listen for all three, and over time you begin to see patterns and pattern recognition of what is working. After the age of 44, your sun sign is more accurate. I'll have to do a class on why that's true. Now, let me go ahead. And let's start out. If anyone tells you any differently on the Sun Moon Rising meeting, then they are mistaken, because I'm telling you what the ancients would tell you. All right. So I'm going to share the chart with you so you can get into the week by week astrology with me, and we're going to rotate the dial and have some fun. So don't forget, liking and subscribing is never a bad thing. And hyping the video is good too, and sharing it. And I do read comments. So if you want to reflect back to me, I try to read as many as I can. All right. So Aquarius, I am one of you. I'm a rising sign. You might be a sun or moon. They're all useful today. As we move into April the 1st, you're going to notice the very first thing that occurs of note is that we have a lunation in Gemini, in Libra, in your ninth house. And this is a full moon. On October 21st, we had a new moon, and you planted a seed in the ninth house. Now it's fulfilling or full. Well, a seed planting last fall and a fulfillment here in the ninth house could indicate you were planting seeds around things to do with publishing, book publishing, foreign land travel, spiritual ideology and philosophy, legal and court case matters, or planting seeds and connections to higher academic learning environments. And so that was a seed in November. Now it's a fulfillment or a completion or a ripening as a full moon light shines in your ninth house of God. What things do you love about it? It flows to your Aquarius in an air trine, so you're always welcoming actions in your ninth house. It's going to open up a beautiful flow to Pluto and Juno. Let's face it, you guys, you are the new guard for humanity as you let transpersonal power and willpower move through your identity. You are the lead goose for humanity. Yay, Aquarius. We are Plutonian. And having this energy now, the moon is going to be very beautifully flowing to the ascendant and to your rising sun and moon, but also to Pluto. Is it flowing by perfect degree? No, it doesn't matter. So the moon is full at 13 degrees of Libra. It flows to Pluto in a whole sign trine. Energetically, this is powerful, and it may feel something along the lines of you are now uncovering hidden powers below the surface of your identity that you didn't even know that you had, including talents and gifts that are emerging for you at this time. Juno could have you wanting to partner up with others in book publishing, writing, communicating, traveling, some kind of way to team up with another person on the full moon and the 2 to 3 weeks that follow the full moon. The moon is full at 13 degrees and change, over here. So it could also activate some third house stories down here. So writing, communicating, and traveling, fulfillment, and execution of those plans may be unfolding at the full moon and the 2 to 3 weeks that follow. As we move past the full light of the full moon, and it's ruled by Venus, by the way, in your fourth house, which is also good for love in the home connected to people from foreign lands. And the full moon of April 1st will unfold over the course of at least 1 month until the next full moon in the next month. We move on to the next story of importance. The month begins with Venus. I just want to mention in your fourth house, she will have arrived on the doorstep on the last day of March. She will not leave this part of your chart where she's in her home domicile and in very good shape until the 24th of April. So having the first 3 weeks and a bit of Venus in your fourth house is going to be really good for decorating, beautifying your home, making plans to entertain in the home, enjoying your home, love and romance in the home, etc. So you have a vibe down here. You're really enjoying being at home. It's good for cultivation of beauty in the home in some way. And so keep that in mind. That's a long vibe for the first 3 weeks of April. On the 3rd and 4th of April, Venus herself will square Pluto. So Venus is at 2 degrees on the 1st, and by the time we get to the 3rd and 4th, she forms a Pluto square. Usually Pluto-Venus squares can be love of power, power of love, but also revelation, something that's been maybe not seen or understood by you. And Venus wants to go below the surface, and she's strong in her sign. It could be about your childhood, your family of origin, right? Where you're kind of plumbing the depths of something below the surface for clarity and eureka and ahas to emerge. And if you have any kind of childhood wounds about money, prosperity, or love and romance, then this is going to be a very profound unearthing of something that could have held you back. Otherwise, you could have a bit of a wealth yoga here connected to property, land, real estate, and wealth. What the heck? Why not? Well, what about the sun squaring Jupiter on the 5th and the 6th of the month? The sun is a light in the sky and it's in Aries and it's exalted and it's squaring Lord Jupiter. Not too shabby. We're going to feel that building up, right? It's not a day only. If you go like this and you're on April the 1st, 11 to 15, it's building. The sun is applying from exaltation to an exalted Jupiter. And here we have it on the 3rd and the 4th, we have this beautiful, intensified, gorgeous energy. And finally, we see it really hit the mark on the April 6th timeframe. It could look like you're going to see a need to take some action, right? Because squares bring us into decision and turning point action moments. Turning point action USA. Yeah, we want to take action. We want to make a decision. We have to act on it. It's positive. It's opportunity. It's golden, exalted opportunity. Writing, communicating, social media, travel, learning, job, work, employer, employees, pets, neighbors, neighborhood, siblings, all of the 6th house and 3rd house. Golden opportunity, brilliance is shining in our sky. And whatever it is, you're going to take an action that's pretty important. You're going to feel motivated to take an action. It might involve money because Mars is in the money house and he's ruling that sun. So it could be a financial opportunity that you need to spend money or make a decision on, but it connects to very positive energies as I just described to you. And your employer-employee situations belong to the 6th house. Mars is ruling this thing. Some of you might get a new job out of this or a new job opportunity, so keep that in mind. When we move into I talk fast. You can slow me down. Pisces was 40 minutes. I'm going as fast as I can without leaving anything out. Slow me down on the playback. I'm an auctioneer today. So now that we passed that mark, we're going into the 7th to the 14th of the month, which is the 2nd week of the month. The first thing that you have to pay attention to is Mars sextiling Uranus. Uranus is always something unexpected or surprising or shocking. Mars, though, is flowing to Uranus. It's a money surprise. Mars can bring some financial surprises connected to land, property, and real estate, or if you work in the online realm from your home, something connected to that as well. It should be positive, but Mars is the ruler of your social media house. So again, 3rd house social media surprises out of the blue could come to you as well. And Mars also rules your 10th house of career. So career, money, social media, surprise. It could also indicate surprises connected to land, property, home, and real estate. And maybe a surprise regarding one of your children and fertility. One of your children is going to tell you, or you're going to find out. We'll get to that later. It's coming up in a second wave that maybe one of you is going to note that this month brings some information about children and fertility. I do like the idea, though, that the vibe here is to make a change, or a change happens is surprising you financially in a good way. Venus is bonifying or making good things happen with Uranus. So don't be afraid of this moment. On the energy of the 12th to the 13th, so we're moving along. Let me get myself caught up. On the 12th to the 13th of the month, there is a Venus and Jupiter narrative. Now we have 2 benefic planets, good guy, good girl, in a beautiful flow. You're going to start to feel it building on the 11th, 12th, 13th. It'll be pretty exact on the 13th and 14th. Venus is whatever is good in her home kingdom. And this is where you live. This is your domicile. This is your nest. Jupiter is rental property. So rental property opportunities, Jupiter is pets, a beautiful opportunity to secure a golden opportunity, secure a beautiful animal that's coming swiftly with a surprise. The SPCA calls you and they've got your perfect breed that's available. Venus is also loving up the Vestal flame of sacred devotion. What is it you want to devote yourself to as a possession? You could possess a home. You could possess a rental property. You could possess a pet that brings love and devotion and sacred duty to the forefront. An opportunity connected to work and home that you feel you're devoted to this opportunity, home and homeland. And Venus is also beautifully placed here in relationship to Jupiter. to open up some beautiful professional opportunities with book publishing, foreign people, foreign shores, foreign places, and foreign lands. And with the North Node in its position, it could be quite the lovely financial opportunity. And it could come through work, family of origin members, land, property, and real estate, deal making, buying or selling, but you're going to feel good. You see that little blue triangle? It's called a mini grand trine. It's extraordinarily positive, and it's made by that Vestal flame of devotion. One thing I'm going to say about you guys at this time, you want to be feeling like the work you do and the money you make is a sacred calling. If you don't find a sacred calling vibe to what you're doing, you're going to quit. And there's major opportunities to allow you to live your sacred calling here in a way. Even Jupiter could bring you more publicity, exposure, more influence over larger groups of people at this time in whatever line of work that you're in. We keep going forward, and we must move forward. And we want to talk about the energy here of Mars and Neptune. I love this. When Mars and Neptune get together, what is delusional and unrealistic and fantasy oriented with no grounding in reality is going to be cleared and defogged. The fog is clearing on your windshield so you can see clearly what you need to acquire or do in your third house. Now, Mars clears the fog of writing, communicating, marketing, teaching, and speaking, short distance travel, neighbor relationships, local environment, and sibling relationships. Wherever there's been confusion there's now certainty. Mars often in the third house wants to move. He likes to locate you to a new city or a town or a neighborhood. Mars is visible. He became visible mid last month. So he's very powerful. He's in his home kingdom. You know, Mars enters his home kingdom or entered his home kingdom on April 9th and stays there till May 19th in your third house. So that window of time can change your location, move your home to a new area, or decisions are made to do that, for example. But when I look at this defogging effect on April 13th, any lack of clarity in third house matters, which I've just spent time explaining to you, is going to be pierced. So now you have no illusion, and Saturn says sober-minded and realistic as well. So you feel like you're coming to a clarity or rock solid bones of something and understanding it in a new way with your mind, how you see something as well. With greater mental clarity, the third house can be the mind. I think clearly, no fog of delusion here anymore. Woo. And then we move in, and Mars in domicile, he's getting the whole show on the road there. He's telling people what to do. So when we move into the third week of the month, we're going to notice that on the 14th to the 16th was just as we begin. Well, really the 14th, 15th. I'll show you what I mean. Okay, watch this. Mercury is at the tail end. Okay, in the second week, third week, 14th to 21st. Mars is at the tail end of your money house. He's not great here, guys. Mercury could be like very bad for, getting clear ideas of what to do with your money. You might be spending too much, or you might be uncertain or unsure. He's not got the details in the lineup of what he does. And I've been dealing with this. I've been trying to figure out how to set up an international payment plan for vendors. I'm having all this god awful confusion because Mercury's been here since Mercury's been in our second house. Oh my God, ever since the February 7th because of retrograde. And I cannot figure out the finances or the taxes properly. But Mars is leaving and he's getting out of that part of our chart. And look at this. On April the 14th, he will be at 29 degrees of Pisces, and he'll be sextiling Uranus for some good, surprising news. Okay, so it's really on the 14th where it's exact. You might feel it the 13th and 14th, but it is exact on the 14th. What you might be experiencing is a positive bit of news financially, second house, connected to property, land, real estate, and inheritance money. Mercury rules your inheritance house. And yes, where you could come into some inheritance, surprisingly, from a family of origin member is one of the ways it could play out. Otherwise, it's just a very positive surprise connected to your home, your nest, your property, your land, something you're doing in and from the home. If you do internet work like I do from the home, some very good financial developments through the internet work you're doing in and from the home. Kaboom, surprise, positive news, surprising you. Jupiter is the exaltation lord of what's happening. And he says it translates to maybe opportunities to pay off a debt, to secure the perfect refinancing, to get the perfect pet, purchase a perfect pet, to get some kind of clear direction with money home and employees, money home, and work and job settings. All of that's happening here in a positive way. I like it. I like it a lot. Write down positive surprises are coming to me on the 14th of April as information and news, and it's going to be money related. Alrighty, around the same time, the 14th, we see Mars sextiling Pluto. So Pluto, 5 degrees, Mars moving in his home kingdom, looking back at Pluto in a flow. We'll feel it the 14th, we'll feel it the 15th, we'll feel it the 16th. And this is kind of like, okay, you are making momentum, passion, drive, ambition happen in the third house. Writing, communicating, marketing, selling, siblings, neighbors, neighborhood, traveling opportunities, short distance, Pluto, revelation, profound depth, transformation through these things. Because Mars is moving in his home kingdom and he's in good shape, he's got his handle on this one, right? He knows what he's doing. He wants to make action and decisions and momentum happen. Writing projects, traveling, learning, teaching. So I need to teach classes this year, but I'm not teaching under this energy. It's just a lot going on in my third house of teaching or learning. But just notice you feel kind of a depth of profound, powerful willpower. Your willpower is unstoppable at this time, okay? So you're coming into this time where unstoppable drive, ambition, and willpower is extraordinarily successful. You can use this by saying there's something you need to really work on and you really need to get it done. And you think, oh my God, it's going to take a lot of effort. Use this time. You'll start to feel it the 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th of April, even into the 18th of April. Unstoppable determination and will. Third house, writing, communicating, traveling, marketing, selling, teaching, learning. All right, got it? On the 17th, Mercury will bump into Neptune. We already had the fog clearing by Mars back on earlier time frame, which was around the 13th, 12th, 13th. Now on the 17th of April, Mercury joins Neptune. Now this is really good if you are like a meditator. The third house is I think, and it's your mind. This could be great for hypnosis sessions, channeling, deep information coming from different realms and dimensions through your mind. And your ability to do this in written form, in particular, the third house is new. You're going to have I can channel anything vibe, okay? Until Neptune leaves your third house in 13 years. So every time Mercury comes back there, he reminds you, you can channel angels, you can communicate with the dead, you can transfer your consciousness to other dimensions and realms. So it's a kind of a mystical vibe as well. And with Mars managing it, you can use this kind of profound visionary understanding idea to execute new plans in your life that are going to succeed. So pay attention to that vibe. It's good for dreams at night. It's good for your information, mind, and moving beyond one way of thinking, having a visionary power that you've never had before. On the 17th as well, we have a new moon at 27 degrees of Aries, planting a new seed and a new beginning, the likes of which you have never seen before, because here we also have Neptune and Saturn together in your third house. The new beginning and fresh start, new moon energy is also about being realistic and visionary at the same time. This is good if you use social media platforms that are Neptunian, which are visionary platforms, especially video, audio. So, video platforms, and a new start and a fresh beginning. You could launch a new website, a new social media platform, a new idea. This can roll out over 6 months. We can also roll out over 3 to 4 weeks where there's a new project that you're going to initiate here. Project is a good word for the third house, a writing project, communicating project, teaching project, a marketing project. And you could launch off of this energy. So I will probably launch the doors to the Divine Timing Masterclass that opens up in May. And that would be an enrollment cart opening, for example, launching the new enrollment website, that kind of thing. That would be wise of me. Chiron, the teacher, mentor, and guide is with this new beginning. So that would be something I could do. Woo! A new beginning in sibling relationships, okay, as well. A new beginning with a new neighborhood coming your way. A new beginning in your travel plans as well. Fresh starts, new beginnings. We'll be diving deeper into that moon on my channel. That's why you should like and you should subscribe. You don't miss a thing, right? Woo! Yes, I'm an auctioneer. I am. On the 18th and 19th, Mercury will sextile Pluto. 18th and 19th, Mercury is going to reveal hidden information, or he's going to give you X-ray vision or a mind that plumbs the depths of the deepest mysteries of life. And so that is you on the 18th and 19th, and Mercury and the Pluto story open up the doors for that kind of deep X-ray vision about reality. It certainly could bring you into more of a conspiratorial understanding of the world, but yeah, conspiracy theory is the news 6 months out. So don't be afraid of your conspiratorial mind on the 18th and 19th. It's probably right. Communications from a sibling to do with archetypes of death and rebirth. Sibling brings news that someone in their life has died. For example, I don't want to worry you, but that's in this chart. I'd be lying if I didn't mention it, right? So I'm being honest about this. And then we see the energy of Mars hitting a wall. Frustration is here. The brake is on with the parking brake is on, but you got the foot on the gas at the same time. Be careful on the 17th to the 20th when you hit that wall. This is where ambition and unstoppable willpower that was driving the show, right? I told you, you've got that unstoppable willpower from the 14th to the 17th, thanks to the Pluto and Mars story. And all of a sudden you're kind of going to hit a wall is basically it. You could be burning out, but you could be taking it slower and realizing you need to restructure something that you've been passionately working on. And Saturn can be the reasonable and realistic approach to a passion project or direction. Also, there could be some difficulty in the life of a sibling. You're going to feel this kind of story emerging on the 17th to the 20th. Any sibling can be a part of this narrative, all right? Siblings in general, but a sibling 1 younger than you and a sibling 2 younger than you and a sibling 3 younger than you are all implicated directly in this sky. So those siblings and difficulties in their life and hardship, and you're hearing about it. Mercury brings the news. Saturn brings the difficult thing that's going on in their world, nothing to do with you. There could be local disturbances in your neighborhood. Mars conjunct Saturn, like they shut the highway down, there's flooding, the roads aren't working, the airports are closed. So travel frustrations as well in your local city or town, more than likely. So if you had a trip planned the 17th to 20th, it may go sideways as you have to wait for the reopening of the transportation infrastructure, as an example. On the 18th to the 21st, Mercury and Mars will join. Now, we've already cleared through the frustration and the hurdle, and then Mercury's up next. And Mercury's just like, okay, hey, I've got some news, I've got some information, and I've got some ideas, and we're going to take action on them already. Let's make the decisions and take the actions. Now, I'm going to lose this, so let's move us back by an hour so that I can do that. Yes. And now we'll go ahead. So I think that, Mars hits a wall, unstoppable determination, gets frustration. Now we've got information coming instead. So Mercury will be some phone calls, texts, emails that are going to help, move the story forward to create a way to move through a hurdle or a barrier. Mercury can be rebooking a ticket for travel. Mercury could be conversations on the phone with a sibling or at a distance, Zoom calls, and trying to make a decision, have an idea to move forward on what might have been a stall. You'll notice the sun, of course, moves around April 20th into Taurus and now joins Venus in domicile. And there's a lot going on for you here in the home right now, April 21st to about the April 21st to about the 23rd. So let's go April 20th to the 23rd, Sun, Venus, Uranus. A lot going on in your private life that's surprising, unexpected. A big light is shining down there. You need to pay attention to it. It could involve significant long-term love partners, agreements, situations. It could involve matters to do with international and foreign people. It could involve things to do with, your home life, obviously. Okay. Now it's a little bit more water. These videos are longer than I want. And then we go into the last story here. We're going to move into the last week, and we're going to talk about the 21st, 2nd through to the end of the month. Venus will co-join Uranus for the last in a lifetime conjunction to this planet Uranus, who has been traveling through Taurus in full-time occupation since March of 2019, was testing the waters in May to October 18. Now, this is the last time in your life that you get a surprise in Taurus, and this is property, land, real estate, home. So all of us Aquarius, a lot of us have had lots of unexpected changes in our home, where we live, what's going on. This is quite positive when this conjunction happens, although it could be a disruptive of your home life. And this conjunction will be pretty well exact on April building up on the 22nd, and exact on the 23rd at 29 degrees. Now, when Venus and Taurus is managing the show, the sun is shining brightly here. And we look at the fact that as these two planets are coming together for a last in a lifetime conjunction, not to be seen again, it could be some very positive developments regarding a situation with a significant partner in your life, a love partner, and domicile, home, land, property, and real estate. It could also be an unexpected opportunity for an increase in your wealth or financial success, because you have the North Node and the Vestal Flame in the second house sextiling this last conjunction. And with the moon in the sixth house, pets, rental properties, and increased income, surprisingly positive developments along those lines as well. And you could pay off a bank loan or mortgage or refinance a property. And even some of you might have the opportunity to, no, those are the main things. Those are the main things. And we'll go into greater depth with asteroids in my All Signs video. So like and subscribe so you don't miss that video. For the last in a lifetime good news, shock, change in your fourth house. A lot of beautiful things can happen from that. We also notice the sun squares Pluto on the 24th, 25th, as it has moved into Taurus. There's not anything terribly bad because this is protected by Venus, but there could be a huge transformational or revealing regarding family, mom, dad, people you grew up with, childhood matters, illuminating, shining a light, probably surprising you, seeing deeper into the architecture of your family, your childhood, and your ancestors, potentially to illuminate something in an aha way so that you can move forward unencumbered from a family secret or a family trauma that needs to be revealed and healed. So that's very vibrationally what I'm getting here. Although for some of you, it could involve long-term committed marriage and love partners as well. And then on the 26th to the 27th, Mercury squares Jupiter, which is good news with action needed. Sometimes we get good news that demands we take an action. Mercury is telling Jupiter, let's buck up. 25th, 26th, 27th of the month, we need to make an action plan to do with neighbors, neighborhood, online, social media, employee, employers, work and work routines, with Mars, job, career, money as well. So there's kind of like, okay, what are we going to do with this? It's an opportunity. It's positive. It requires action. It requires communication. It could be new contractual agreements for a new job. It could be communications with employees that are really positive, but you need to make a move. You need to take an action. You need to do something with this opportunity. It could be an opportunity to speak on a social media platform, to be giving greater exposure on a big channel. Like for me, I'd love to be on like Next Level Soul podcast, that kind of thing. And you're just going to have to jump on the opportunity as it arises. And opportunities involving siblings as well as maybe pets. Still pets are in there. All righty. Finally, Venus will sextile Neptune while also trining Pluto. Let's take a look as we end the month off. So Venus is going to look like she's flowing from her Gemini perch, where she's with Uranus, and that's Uranus entering there April 26th, and Venus also having entered there April 24th. So now you've got a new story coming up in the last week of April, which is positive for single Aquarians looking for love. It's surprising, shocking, swift moving, outside the box, thunder and lightning. The way you love me is frightening. If you're looking for sexy, romantic love that really knocks your socks off, then you're going to find that it could start to show up for you April 24th to May the 19th. And even if you're in an existing love relationship, it could surprise you with some really weird outside the box romance. You could find out one of your children is going to have a baby. Surprise. You'd find that out anytime after April the 26th through to May 19th. And you could also be using this as an artist or creative or an entrepreneur for executing outside the box, new entrepreneurial and artistic ideas, and Mercury would deliver them into the social media sphere very effectively. It is very good for course launches, which I'll be launching my Divine Timing Masterclass and having a great deal of success doing so, because Mercury's in the house of teaching and learning with Chiron. Alrighty, what about that beautiful energy? This is a miniature grand trine that was forming here in the last week of the month. It'll start up on the 26th between Venus and Pluto, and all flowing to Neptune, and of course a bit of Saturn in here. So it's almost like a grace field around you when it comes to you, your sun, your career, your moon, your home life, Aquarius, rising, your character identity. You're looking at the world through the lens of should I stay or should I go? Let me get down with this. I want you to think about this. Juno will have entered into Aquarius as this month starts. She will be here throughout to the end of the year, minus a break, August, September, October, when she dips back into Capricorn, having a whole year of Venus in Aquarius for the sun and the rising specifically is about, do you want to be in a long-term committed love relationship? Should I stay or should I go? You're trying to figure out who, with whom and when and how and why you want to be in a committed story. And that's a backdrop for the whole year. And against that backdrop, you have some surprising love relationships, romance stories, generating a hot bolt of lightning at you in the last week of April into the middle of May. Okay. It could look like marriage proposals or decisions regarding long-term love and even cohabitation. All right. Those are some stories I've got for you. And if you're single, look for love to shock you. If you're entrepreneurial, great creative, artistic surprises that are positive and moving forward at lightning speed, especially in the online world of your reality. Thanks for listening. Don't forget, when you like and subscribe, it helps the channel grow. Hit the hype button, share with family and friends. You can find me on Substack, where I write weekly all world astrology reports and deliver audio podcasts for all signs delivery. You can also find me on Patreon, where I teach 4 Zoom calls a month in different kinds of astrology classes, including general Q&A. And you can also join me on this platform in my members only section, where I put out videos that I can talk about controversial topics without getting deplatformed here, as well as occasional live streams where we do mini readings and more. Check it out. When you join my Patreon community, you get 2 free courses from me in the back end as well. Chiron, the key to purpose. Yes. And timing your life cycle with Chiron. So purpose cycles in your sky. Thanks for listening. Don't forget, this channel grows because you help it grow. Thank you for being a part of this world, all you newbies and my long-term followers. Thank you very, very much.
Lunatic astrology.